Hello, everybody out there. It's Tarot Association's time, and today I'm here with lovely Marion Kirk. Hello, Marion. How are you?
Hello, Kirsten and everyone. I am very well, thank you.
That's great. Yeah, it's interesting times. Marion, for everybody who doesn't know her, is a tarot and astrology expert from Scotland. I have put down every thing you need to know about her into the show notes. I mean, just your web page, not your knickers. I'm sorry.
Not my autobiography.
I'm sorry. And
Thank you.
as you can hear, Marion has an interesting English accent, so I asked her to speak slowly, but give us signs if we need to tune down a bit more. We, of course, want you to follow everything we are saying. Um, since we have started this talk, Marion, Pluto is moving more and more into Aquarius. I think it will be in Aquarius once we've finished this talk,
Well,
i- because according to German time, it should be there at 2140. So you're 2040,
mhm,
right?
yep, yes.
Have you already some precognition what this will bring us before we look into the tarot regarding this?
Well, over the last 2 years, we have had hints of what sort of energy we will have
Hmm.
because Pluto has been doing that dance between Capricorn and Aquarius. So we've had little snapshots of that. Um, and really, when you look at the times, so say, kind of in the summer this year, Pluto was in Aquarius for a few months. So if there was a certain area of your life that got a bit easier, and then other areas maybe get a bit more difficult, then that's the kind of to and froing. But the reason this is so important is because this transit is going to last for 20 years,
Yes,
you know.
that's very long. I mean, in
Yes.
Pluto, it was about 15 years. So now 20 years. These 15 years were quite exasperating at times, I thought. And
Mhm,
I'm quite
mhm,
curious what's going to happen now. The last time Pluto made this transition from Capricorn to Aquarius, it was around the French Revolution. It was about the founding of America, and it was wild times, we have to say.
It was, it was a time of deep unrest,
Yes,
and I think if we track various areas in the world right now, we can see that same that same sort of energy.
yeah,
Um, and it's there's a lot of, I think, misconceptions where a lot of people are like, oh well, it's going to be wonderful. Hmm, no.
no, I don't think so either.
May eventually be, but it's not, we're not going to suddenly wake up tomorrow and the world is going to be this wonderful magical place.
Yes,
You know, it doesn't work like that. It's Pluto takes a long time, so these changes will be incredibly gradual, but at the same time, the thing about Pluto, going into Aquarius, if we look at the rise of AI technology,
Yeah.
that has got Pluto and Aquarius all over it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that is going to increase.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I found interesting when I looked back at the transitions in uh, around 500 years ago when Pluto was in Aquarius. It We had the Reformation, and
mhm,
it was very much about information then, translating the Bible into the languages of the countries that it was read in.
mhm,
Then around the French Revolution, of course, there was a lot of information going on. Satire was very big at the time as well. Fake news were really large then. And
yeah,
now we are again having another jump with information technology, and it's getting quicker and quicker. And
mhm,
yeah, I see many good things coming up, as you
mhm,
say as well. But I think it will be very troubled times until we get there. And I
yeah,
was sorry, I was thinking, because we always say Aquarius is so much about liberty, freedom, that when I see what's happening in the States right now with loads of strange people being called into the ministries, it's about really absolute freedom from what you know what I need. I can't really find words. It's like mad freedom,
mhm,
anarchy in a kind
mhm.
of way.
I think I'm of the opinion of absolute anything
Yeah,
is dangerous.
yeah,
This kind of a polarization, regardless of what direction, what side, what belief system. I think absolute power corrupts
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So I think it's very dangerous for people to be a bit. I'll say like kind of like the film like Pollyanna. So it's a bit kind of it's all unicorns and rainbows. No, no, it's really not. And speaking as someone whose national animal is the unicorn, you know, I say that with love, you know.
No, yeah, that's what I'm also thinking when I look in the social media where everything is magic and fantastic, and it's really another reality created next to the reality we're supposed somehow to live in.
Yes.
Wild. Um,
Mhm.
Nina was on the other channel. Yeah, freedom from logic, Dieter Eule
Mhm.
says. That's a good point as well, I think. And we wanted to think about how we can use the cards basically to illustrate what's going to happen, or with what cards we can work in order to um, help us getting through this phase. So I have seen two of your talks where you link astrology to tarot. And what would you tell people if they want to do this themselves? What's a good way to start with this?
I think the first and foremost, each major arcana card is represented by either a sign, a zodiac sign, or a planet. So that's your starting point. So that gives you your kind of base understanding. So, one of the things I'm really passionate about is teaching people who know tarot, who are fluent in tarot, about astrology
Hmm.
by using tarot. Because it's like some people are very much, I don't understand astrology. It doesn't make sense to me. And then when I explain it in tarot terms, then they get, ah, ah, it it clicks,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a very good way to study astrology, I think, to use the images. It's easier for many people to do this, and that's also what I do. If somebody is knowledgeable with tarot, I just take their chart and put pictures from the arcana onto their planets, and they immediately understand themselves better. It's quite a good exercise.
Yes.
And as you said, there are all the signs and planets in the major arcana. And what about Pluto? Which card is this?
So Pluto is judgment.
Exactly. So, strangely enough, it's here.
Like magic.
So, this card is attributed to Pluto. In the early days, when the Golden Dawn made its attributions, it wasn't Pluto because they didn't work with Pluto. It was the ah, Wurzel, the root of fire, but now we link it to Pluto. And what do you say when you see this card? What plutonic ideas do you get from this card?
What I see it with, and this was this was how I really finally understood judgment, the difference between judgment and justice, which I think is something that newer readers struggle with,
Yeah.
and when it was Pluto, so I see that as, kind of rising or ascending from the underworld. It's like these individuals look as if they're rising from like graves, if you like. So they're rising from death because Pluto rules the underworld. That's the home of Pluto in myth.
Hmm.
So when I see that, it's okay. So there's the people they have been through. Is that, for instance, the river Styx? Is that river? That there's the body of water where they're crossing over to the afterlife.
That's really interesting because Maat, the goddess which is often associated with judgment, is the goddess sitting in front of
Hmm.
the underworld or the other world and thinks about whether people should be allowed in or not. So, yeah, that's a new idea for me, actually. I like this.
You're well.
Thank you. But Pluto in the myth is not really about waking people up, is he? He's more about bringing them to sleep, because in the Greek Roman religion, once you were in the underworld, you couldn't get out anymore, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
It's it's a it's that sort of it's the salvation, I think, after the depths of despair or whatever the challenge has been.
hmm,
Um, the this maybe it's the social judgment, etc., that we maybe feel, or we've got the angel with the trumpeter, but it could be someone discussing things that they then judge us for.
yeah.
And so it's
Mhm.
it's like that. And it Platonic energy is not pleasant. It's deliberately there to challenge us. You know yourself, if you look at somebody's chart and you see their Pluto and you're like, "Oh," and and it's whatever house it's in and whatever sign it's in, you're like, hmm. And I don't know about you, but it's always one that I hope that a client doesn't ask a question about, where I really need to look at Pluto being activated.
Mm.
I like to keep it to the shadows.
Okay. Yeah, but that's why because you're a Taurus, I think. You don't like to look into the shadows.
No. Pluto is literally my shadow because it's a ruler of Scorpio, my opposite sign. So, yeah, no
I,
thanks.
I'm just trying to what Glitzerfunke writes, what the individual perceives as fair does not have to be the same as what the judge decides. Exactly. That's the energy of judgment, definitely.
Yep.
With the plutonic energy being linked to uh, the no justice. I meant justice. Judgment is what we're talking about. Sorry. Um, um, I'm wondering, does this mean when we look at this image and link it to where Pluto is in transit in Capricorn or now in Aquarius, that there is a wake up call when this happens in this sign? Is this sign woken up, basically?
I would suggest yes, um, simply because it's. I was thinking about this earlier today,
Mm,
because obviously this is a big deal. And I was thinking about this conversation, and I'm like, right. And how I thought about it was if, for instance, it was Uranus moving into a sign, Uranus, while still being an outer planet, is chaos. It's quick. It's woof. It's like, where the hell did that come from? And it's like destructive, and it's very quick. Being destructive as a planet, whereas Pluto is like that quiet, almost hidden energy. It's like, it's almost like the silent assassin.
mm,
It's like they're like the kind of special forces, marksmen. You don't see them.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, I understand. It's just I'm trying to link this to judgment because this one is a very loud card, isn't it? It's
mhm,
opera and drama for me, this card.
it is. So maybe that's like the false narrative, if you like. That's the sort of let's let's lull people into a false sense of security. Oh, look, here's this loud awakening card.
Mm,
But yes, it's going to be an awakening. Yes, there's going to be a huge shift in beliefs. You were talking about 500 years ago, the Reformation.
yeah,
But then there's the silent shadow part of it that you don't see. Well, yes, there's going to be all these changes in this enlightenment,
yeah,
if you like. But what is it we need to go through to get to that stage?
yeah. Christopher is saying that Pluto is wearing a Tarnkappe in mythology. I don't know actually the word for Tarnkappe, but it's a kind of head you
Am
put on and then you disappear.
right? Okay,
It's
so it's almost like kind of invisible.
yeah, it's like what Frodo has in Lord of the Rings when he wants to disappear, you know. No, he touches
Mhm,
the ring, then he disappears, but he puts something on the head and then disappears.
mhm,
So, um, yeah, that could mean that Pluto is everywhere around us, but we don't realize that he's here, and we focus on things which are not so important
mhm.
and oversee what is important would be one idea I have about this. Uh, Judgment does look loud, Angela says, but to me it will always had a silent energy, a magic
It's
hat, Glitzerfunke says, yeah.
mhm. It's like
Yeah,
it's like silent assassin. It just happens, and you're like, you're too busy looking over there, but you should be looking over there.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So definitely, whatever Pluto touches, according to uh, the Judgment card, there will be some upheaval. And yes, the corpses are getting out of their graves, and
Mhm.
there seems to be a lot of subconscious stuff going on because there's a lot of water again. There's still confusion while the um, corpses are rising. And if we think of any film which has to do with about with the Last Judgment, it's always a mess, isn't it? It's never
It's
never
not,
easy.
you know, that's the thing, you know, and like if we kind of like when we think about this, in order to have this like kind of great healing, which people are saying, oh well, this transit, you know, will help to heal things and that. Well, some in order for something to heal, it has to have been broken
Yeah.
in the first place, you know.
And that's perhaps where we can continue,
Mhm,
because death has also something to say with this.
mhm.
How is the connection to death and Pluto?
So the connection to death is in the major arcana. Death is Scorpio, the sign of Scorpio, and Pluto is the modern day ruler of Scorpio. Traditionally, the ruler is Mars, and that's the tower.
Yeah, exactly.
So if anybody's wondering why Scorpios in their life are not as maybe soft and fluffy as the other two water signs, it's because traditionally they're ruled by the tower and modernly by judgment.
Yeah.
So that's where their fierceness comes from.
So it's always, I mean, the tower could also be quite a good image for the eighth house, I think, which is very
Yes.
much about getting into the depths, but also about crisis, taboos
Mhm,
being broken,
mhm,
enlightenment, but the hard way. And all of these cards are about enlightenment. If we think about it, we have the
yeah,
sun rising or going down, whatever. There's a huge discussion about it. We have the thunderstruck lightning, the thunderstruck, the lightning struck tower. That's it. and and here we have this horn. How do you call this instrument in England? Is it a
um,
trumpet or is it no? It's something else, isn't it? We
trumpet,
we call
bugle. I don't know.
bugle. Never heard of
Ah,
this word.
a bugle? Well,
No.
I just like saying that. I think a bugle is kind of like a rounded
Ah,
trumpet.
a
I'm
horn.
not
Yeah, a
sure.
bugle. Never heard of this.
A
Okay.
bugle.
So, but all of these cards are major awakening calls in a way, isn't it? And
Mhm,
so when we think about Pluto in our chart or in the way of transits, we have to
mhm.
consider these three cards for Pluto, and it doesn't look fluffy. Trombone, Christopher
Was
says.
that oh, I will take your word for it. I am not musically inclined at all.
Never mind. So, yeah, so it looks a bit difficult if we look at these cards. And would you say, if we are preparing for this transit, do you have any advice how people could use these three cards in order to make the transition not that uh,
I
difficult?
th- I think, you know, if you're sitting watching this and you are either an Aquarius or perhaps or a Scorpio or to the same extent a Leo and a Taurus, because Pluto is moving into a fixed sign. Yes, Aquarius is going to go through like almost like a reincarnation in their entire lives. Capricorns, you can lie down, you can go into um, resuscitation mode, or you can go into you can go into a padded cell, go have a lie down now. You've done your bit, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
They can
but
rest.
yes, take a rest. It's like the thing with astrology and where I come from with the point of view of astrology is it's there to assist us. We are not ruled by astrology. We have free will, you know, and it's more like forewarned is forearmed, so it's like
Yeah.
the with astrological chart, one of the best comparisons I heard is what astrological chart is like a tarot spread. And depending on the type of question we have, we take it to our chart and we'll look at the particular placements that are going to answer our question the best.
Hmm.
So if we have got a question about our perhaps our romantic relationships, we're going to look at our moon placement. We're going to look at our Venus placement and possibly our Mars placement as well.
Yeah.
So that's enough to be getting on with, just to answer that specific question. It's like when you put a tarot spread out, you know immediately if you have put too many cards out, it muddies the water.
Yeah.
It almost gives too many answers and it confuses more than helps us.
Yeah.
So that's where I tend to start from with astrology. It's like our chart is an oracle, and whatever thing in our life, excuse me, is going on, we consult that part of the oracle.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily look at it as a whole because that can be too overwhelming,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I was just wondering when you said we have free will.
Mhm.
Free will is, I would say, an Aquarian theme because it's about freedom and, yeah, just having liberty everywhere. Uh, and whether when Pluto is moving through Aquarius, whether our free will be tested a lot. What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that is a really astute observation because it's the shadow part.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, there is going to be a lot of um shadows coming up to the surface. That's the job of Pluto.
Yeah.
That's the job of us rising, if you like, up from the shadows, or our shadows rising up from the underworld. And I think there's going to be a lot of times where collectively, as a planet, as a species even, we are going to be called into question.
Yes. Definitely
We,
with IE coming up.
yeah, it's going to be, whether that is, locally, in our own individual communities, whether it's our online communities, how we interact with each other.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget, Aquarius is the ruler of the internet.
Yeah.
Aquarius is the king of swords in the tarot as well. Now,
Yeah, and of astrologers as well, in a way.
yeah,
It and it's the sign of groups, isn't it? And parties and yeah, social media is everything which is now under um, which is now tested. And
Mm.
I thought we could also look again at the transition Pluto
Mhm.
is taking from Capricorn to Aquarius
Yep.
with the cards. So for 15 years, it has
Mhm.
been in Capricorn, which
Yes.
is the devil in the tarot, according to the Golden Dawn.
Mhm.
And the um, Aquarius is the star. But before we
Stop.
go there, there are some questions. Do the corpses have free will? They rather look like zombies worshipping a new god, says Christopher. Yeah, I've been wondering this. Is this really a new life they're living, or is it just um, another hero they're following after that
It
one?
it may well be, or is it the fact that they've broken the chains from the devil, thinking that they will have a new beginning when actually they're basically, it's a case of trading the devil you know for the devil you don't know.
Yeah. Christopher says maybe the angel represents AI. So we don't
You
know.
just never know. A friend sent me a YouTube video yesterday, and it was an AI robot, and this thing was moving independently and picking things up and moving it, and it was like humanoid. It was like, did you ever watch that film, that Will Smith film called I, Robot?
I've seen extracts of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Wow,
It
crazy.
was it was nuts, and I'm just like, that's Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of films, I always used to connect Judgment to what was it called? Independent Day, to the film Independent Day, where they're all sitting on this. I think
With
it's
on the top
the
of the
Empire State
skyscraper,
Building,
and
and
they're,
they're all
mhm,
like ah, and then the tower
and it's like,
crashes. Exactly. So this can be the bad side of it, waiting for somebody to get them out of their misery instead of doing something on their own. There's the
doing
free will
shadow.
thing again. Yeah.
Mhm,
So Christopher is, of course, right with his question. But if you
mhm,
look at Capricorn, there
mhm,
we have this fact of being uh, not mobile, being stuck in a situation.
mhm.
And actually, we should have learned during Pluto and Capricorn to be more independent and free. Don't you think so?
I think, with Capricorn's the sign that rules structure. It rules government. It rules like traditional rulership. It's like governments. It's like top down structures. So like banks, all the big corporations. So if you think about it, the month that Pluto finally moved into Capricorn back in 2008 was the month of the banking crash.
Yeah,
I mean, we all remembered that. Well, some of us, a certain vintage do, like all these bankers suddenly being, out of work and them carrying like their boxes, etc., out of like buildings and whatnot, and basically the whole world all of a sudden having no money.
yeah,
That was Pluto moving into Capricorn.
yeah.
So then it's like, as we look at the kind of like evolution of Pluto going through Capricorn, we're now talking about how, I mean, like back in 2008, there wasn't such a thing as cryptocurrency.
No,
Now there is.
yeah.
I mean, there's like people making millions. They're becoming millionaires overnight because of cryptocurrency.
It's weird. Yeah,
And so that's the kind of thing. And then you've got like online banks that don't exist out with the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got like two bank accounts that don't have a physical bank. I can't go into a physical bank named that and put money in.
No, you
You know,
can't.
it just exists online.
Yeah.
So that was never a thing. So all these things have developed in preparation for this new dawning, if you like, this new transit. And you can kind of pinpoint times in history quite clearly when Pluto has been in a certain sign, depending on the things that have been happening in a global scale.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think as well. So, Pluto in Capricorn, Capricorn being a very earthy sign, being very much about society, tradition, the way one is supposed to do something,
Mm-hmm,
rules,
mm-hmm,
compared to the devil, which is about, yeah, materialism, I would say, on one level. This means that Pluto kind of brought put its focus on these themes
mm-hmm.
and changed them as well, right? Do I get this right?
I would suggest so.
Yeah.
Um, it's like I don't know exactly, what's been happening in Germany,
Mm,
but it seems to be that everybody seems to be a lot poorer, you
definitely.
know, and everything's much more expensive
Yes.
now, and I think you can have that as like just natural inflation, but at the same time, it's very much this kind of globalization that's happened over the
Yeah.
last decade and a half. And I think Aquarius, with Pluto going into Aquarius, there will be this. You can see it just now with people being a lot more kind of community minded.
Mm,
People are wanting, they're craving to go back to their land.
yeah.
And it's like maybe grow their own vegetables, grow their own food. Even if it's just like in a small scale. You know, I was watching, like it was an Instagram reel, and it was this guy in this minute New York apartment, but he was growing bell peppers on his window ledge, in these tiny little plant pots. So something like that, he's in a place like New York City where you can practically get anything at any time, but he was finding this wonderful connection to nature
Yeah.
by cultivating these peppers.
But this is quite a nice way of looking at the transition from the devil to the star, isn't it? Because the star is this kind of little paradise in New York, in one of the most materialistic cities in the universe. And
Exactly.
and I also get some comments here that thinking about the star, that Capricorn is fixing the ties, but the star gives us hope when we
Hmm.
focus on ourselves. And XK23 says that he connects cryptocurrency more to Aquarius,
Hmm.
money out of thin air.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I meant, because it's like Capricorn deals with the physicality of money, but then
uh,
the Aquarian influence is the fact that it's still money,
mm.
but it only exists in like thin air. You can't see it, you can't touch it.
I would more say it's not necessarily Aquarius, but Uranus. Uranus
Yeah,
moving through Taurus now for 7 years as well. So, exactly, you know about this.
honestly, it's been rough. It's been rough.
So I think
Oh,
this is cryptocurrency came up with Uranus and Taurus. I think it's
mhm,
about that time.
mhm,
So we have these two major movements
mhm,
going through earthy signs, through Capricorn, through Taurus, which
mhm.
brought a lot of upheaval in the world.
Uh-huh.
And and now and now after this, Pluto is moving now into the sign which is Uranus. And if we think of it, this year, Uranus and Pluto made two at least trines. They
Mhm.
one in the summer, and they will be doing another one in at Christmas.
Yeah.
So um
Mhm.
in a way, yeah, but in a way we have this energy here coming, it's
Yeah.
like passing over the keys from
Mhm.
one sign to the other, isn't it? It's
It,
quite
it is
interesting.
very much. And then at the same time, we'll have Uranus moving from Taurus into Gemini. So
Yeah,
moving from fixed Earth into mutable air,
yeah,
and we're having the opposite energetic dance at the other side of the zodiac
yeah,
with Pluto going into
yeah,
Aquarius. It, it's interesting times for sure.
yeah. We have selected a good time to incarnate, basically.
Oh,
Exciting
I'm
times.
curious. I don't know if I had a choice. I really don't think I would have chosen.
No. XK23 says that he never thought of this, but mining of cryptocurrency has some analogies to alchemy. Mining as visitor interiora terre. You're very intellectual, my dear. And the solving of the hash problems as experiments to find the philosopher's stone. Uh-huh. What
Mm.
is he on about? What do you mean by the hash problems? That we're allowed to smoke hash now in Germany, or what do you mean?
Oh, are you? Is it legal
Yes,
now?
yes, yes, it's legal, but
No,
not in
not
many, with difficult rules, but you can do it
that.
now.
So basically, Berlin isn't going to be the new Amsterdam, is what you're
Well,
saying.
yeah, kind of, actually, yes. Yeah. So I didn't get your second part, XK23, but the alchemy part is definitely to be considered, yes. But what if we think of the transition from Capricorn to Aquarius, according to the tarot cards, what I
Mhm,
see is that in Capricorn, it's very much about connection of people, of relationships, how we move with each other. Pluto energy is also many people. It's a
mhm.
collective energy. But here in Aquarius, there's only this one person, and she's quite relaxed, and she's just in her realm, and she's kind of peacefully um, doing whatever she's doing there. One never
I
knows.
think as well, I think like, to look at the star card, I mean, there's a vulnerability there. I mean, she's naked,
Hmm.
so there's a great vulnerability there
But they're all
within,
naked. It's actually on all the cards here.
interestingly enough. So as I think it's like a bit unchaining ourselves from our vulnerability. Maybe that's it.
Maybe it's about well,
Seeing
there has
ourselves.
been also some shame about showing oneself how one is.
Aha.
Now you are more authentic in the best or worst way. I don't want some people to be really authentic, I have to confess.
No. It's like, no, put it away. We see that, please.
Meanwhile, our German audience is really highbrow. Christopher is quoting Kundry in Klingsor's Miracle Garden from
Zober,
Parsival.
is that Zobergarten?
The Zaubergarten, yes. It's a
Zauber.
miracle garden. So he says this is kind of Kundry. It's from the Parsival myth.
Ah,
A beautiful woman who seduces the knights away from finding the Grail in
ah,
Mirror's garden. So, and this is quite, yeah, it's quite clever because actually this can happen in the star. We can be seduced to the wrong. We set out to do something, and
mm-hmm.
in the star we lose
Mm.
sight of what we wanted
We're,
to do.
we're seduced. We're seduced by the bright lights.
Yeah,
It's maybe, like we are, because that can seem familiar if we have been in the energy of the devil.
yeah,
So after that kind of breaking free from the addiction, etc., then it can maybe be considered a relapse.
yeah,
you
exactly.
know but it's like gaining strength and just going, following your own path.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at the star, it is about, it looks nicer than the devil for the next 20 years. But
Hmm.
I think, as you said, during the past 2 years, a lot of not so nice things have happened to many people I know. And I think we, in the first 2, 3 years of Pluto and Aquarius, we have to really solve these problems before we can enjoy what might
Healing.
come out of it.
Hmm. I
So,
think we're still very much in that destructive tearing down
yeah,
of things, and eventually there will be this greater understanding. But at this time point in time, we are still very much in the weeds of it. We're still very much kind of a trying. I think, we, as a collective, trying to find a way forward where that every I mean, nobody, you're never going to get everybody to agree on everything.
yeah,
But I think if people can maybe understand the greater picture and understand and agree on the key major points, and then maybe the differences comes in how people achieve that. But everybody having a fundamental understanding of what what would be best as much as possible, and then taking that and doing, kind of but what we need to look at as well is the fact that this major planet is moving from a sign that's traditionally feminine into a sign that's masculine.
yeah.
I don't mean that gender wise, I mean it as an energy point
Mm.
of view, like yin
So
and
from a
yang.
more passive sign to a more active sign.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. So what's that going to look like? You know, and I think, over the next couple of years, with all the major outer planets, they are all moving from feminine signs into masculine signs.
yeah, that's right.
So again, that brings a completely different energy.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't gone through all of what's happening next year, but we have lots of Aries energy, lots of Gemini energy. Yeah, it will be
Hmm.
wild.
I think everybody, I think the one to watch, I almost feel like a football or racehorse pundit here. So the one to watch, the team to watch in this tournament is, um, I would say, watch Neptune.
Yeah,
Watch Neptune get into Aries.
yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to this. I mean, Neptune has been with us for 12 years. I'm Piscean. So
Mm.
I'm ready to let go of Neptune, I have to say.
You're ready to wake up, you mean, Kirsten,
Exactly.
from the dream that you've been in?
So, Christopher is making another point about the star trapped in paradise instead of facing your fears. I was going to say this. It's
Mhm.
this. We started off our talk with everything is magic, you know.
Yes.
So the star kind of brings us into this fake reality where we only see the positive, the light, the love, and that can be also difficult if
It can.
no, so ugh, yeah, I like the star better than the devil in this respect, I have to say. But
Yes.
I don't know where we'll be ending in 20 years.
Well, I realised I looked at it today and I was listening to a podcast as I was pottering about my office here, and the lady said, "Oh well, just think, what age will you be in 20 years' time?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Who
I
wants
was
to know?
quite what I was like, I was like, I'm going to be like 62. I'm like, all right, okay. And my hips sore just now. Goodness knows what I'll be like by then. I'll still
Yeah.
be mad. If I'm spared that long, I'll still be bonkers. You know.
This was I was thinking because next is Pluto in Pisces. I don't know whether
Mm.
I'm going see this anymore.
Oh,
I'm
you will.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't want to be too pessimistic. Piscean
No.
people tend sometimes to be pessimistic, aren't we? Um, we're not on the life side of life. That's why we have the Hanged Man as our
That
card,
is
isn't
true.
it? Hanged Man
Now,
and Moon. I mean, will what should come out of this?
look what Pluto did to the beautiful sign of Capricorn. Why should Aquarius get away better?
You could think
Because
that this one is a Capricorn
Aquarius.
who's writing this.
Oh, is he? Is he a Capricorn?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, right. We grumpy water goat, right? We,
The grumpy water.
right, we, we grumpy face. Um, Aquarius will probably get away with it because they are super tricky. They I actually refer to myself as an Aquarius survivor because I survived a 4-year relationship with an Aquarius. Who also had their Sun, Venus, and Mars in Aquarius. You
Nice.
you want to know about cold? You want to know about emotionally cold? My God. It was like living like being dating hypothermia in human form. So
Yes, so I also think for Aquarius it's no problem, but what you're mentioning is quite interesting because when Pluto was in Aquarius, at least the last two times there have been major cold-blooded wars, and just the invention of the guillotine was in this time, which is really a massacre instrument. So this
Mhm.
uh, the ability to emotionally detach from
Yes,
things is very strong in Aquarius.
it
It's
is
a
a
good thing on one level because then you can make better decisions than
mhm,
being ruled by emotions. But on the
mhm,
other hand, it can be very difficult to sympathize with other people, and this can
uh,
be one of the major challenges with Pluto in Aquarius. Yeah.
I think so. Just to answer it, KXK23. I am a Taurus Sun and an Aries Moon and a Sagittarius Ascendant.
Yes. You
So,
don't feel the Taurus so much with Marion, do you?
It's just there to ground me. Otherwise, I would be
Yeah.
constantly away in
Yeah.
adventures. I would be like wee Bilbo Baggins off on an adventure every day.
Very nice. Yeah, I think, Marian, I think we should come to an end with this. Do you have any more things you really find relevant to think about right now? Um,
I think just always bear in mind, like I said before, um, astrology is there to guide us, not to define us. We are not defined by astrology. We are not defined by our own personal astrology. Um, it's it's there as a tool.
yeah, that's what I think as well.
Mhm.
And we have to wait. No, that is not the right one. Hmm, doesn't work. What did I do wrong?
Oh, what are you doing? What are you trying to do?
No, sorry, it's not working.
It's not
I
working.
just wanted to do a
Oh, is that
because Pluto
funny?
is in Aquarius now, and it's for you as well, of
Oh,
course.
yes, it
But
is.
now we
Mhm,
are in the in
mhm.
the lovely Pluto Aquarian
Yeah.
time for 20
Mhm.
years. And
Yeah, the intention of Galaxy was to invent a more humane way of execution. Oh, aye.
yeah, yeah, it
Abs-
was. Of course it was, but it was immediately used to mass murder.
it's only a humane way if the blade's sharp. If the blade's a bit rusty, then you
All the
know,
Capricorns are cheering right now. It's uh, their how do you
made it.
say they are not reunited. I don't know the English word. If you are reawakened, kind of. There's a word, but
You
never mind.
Capricorns, you made it.
Yeah, they made it. They are now free from all cares and can dance into the moonlight
It's a bit like
naked.
Capricorns are the victors of their Hunger Games. It's like the Hunger Games have moved on to Aquarius. May the gods be ever in your favour, Aquarius.
I like that.
Oh
So,
my god.
so tomorrow we all will wake up to Pluto in Aquarius, and we will. No, it's not relieved. What I meant. It's there's a book, a famous book, and a film with a word. I will I will think about it.
Mhm.
I don't have it on my mind right now. So Nina is all for Aquarius. Um, I
Yay!
wish all the Aquarians watching this lots of love and
Mhm.
a great time for the next few years.
For
And
I mean, we're all going to be affected. What you
of
can
course,
do is, check check where Aquarius, check where Pluto has left your chart, what house it's left,
yeah.
and what house it's going into.
Yes, you all should do this. And no, it's not a revocate. I can't think of the word right now, but it is a re word. I'm sure of that. I promise tomorrow
Continue.
morning, I will know it or not if I forget it.
Tomorrow you'll be standing making your morning coffee, and it'll be like, that's it.
Oh God, what's the book title? I have it somewhere here, but never mind.
Mhm.
Marianne,
Yeah,
it has been lovely to have you here. We should meet up in 20 years again and see how things went during this time.
that's a date, Kirsten. Right? That is a date.
Yes,
We'll meet in a far off galaxy, far, far away.
that's a good one. Um, Angela, we said it, 20 years Pluto in Aquarius. Uh,
Yes.
and all the Capricorns feel much lighter
Oh,
already.
that's lovely.
Yes. So, I think we finished for today. Um, we tried to make it as nice as possible, as positive as possible. You might feel that neither Marion nor me are too optimistic that everything will be magic. but but
That's a challenge. You find the magic in the darkness.
exactly, we will find the magic in the darkness. And that's why we meet up all the time and talk to one another. If you want to get in contact with Marian, she also does courses, and of course, she's also counseling. Everything's in the show notes, and I'm sure we have you here again, dear Marian.
I would love to.
So, have a great time in Scotland. You all have a great time wherever you are, who's watching. And we see each other tomorrow morning for uh, the first day of Pluto in Aquarius. And I hope that the world is still standing when I wake up tomorrow morning. Bye bye.
Bye.